Have a look at. No, on the wonk. I'm in the middle of a major cock up. I'm using a completely new setup, and I've ballsed it up. Do you want me to send you a new link? Okie dokie. Okay, bye. Oh, Lord. Right. No idea if anybody's watching this, but bear with me. I will get there in 1 second. Hold on. Oh, God above. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Hold on. Hold on. Where am I? Right, is this the one that's working? Ah, yes, splendid. There we are. Right, bear with me. Bear with me. Share, copy link. There we are. Done. Okay. Okay, darlings. Right, apologies for the abortive starts. I'm using a completely new setup. Very clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. So this is going to be a bit of this is going to be a bit of a voyage into the unknown. First things first, please. Can you see me and hear me loudly and clearly? Somebody let me know, please. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testicles. Mary had a little lamb. She kept it in a bucket, and every time she took it out, see me and hear me. AV is good, yes and yes. Brilliant. In that case, now. Okay, so we're all good on the sound. The microphone is working. Wonderful. Thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Pingu. Thank you, everybody. Cheeseburger. Oh, cheeseburger. God almighty, you're starting with this shithousery early, aren't you? Bloody hell, give me a chance to settle in. Okay, right, yes. New setup, darling. So, how are we looking picture-wise? Are we okay? Everybody happy with that? Are you happy that you're not on the wonk? You're in widescreen, my loves. You can see more. You can see more of me than you probably want to. To explain, those of you, my inner scrotum, who have been watching the daily diaries, will be aware that there are some technological changes coming up. No, Pingu, I don't require Mustard's IT support. Of all the IT support I require, Mustard is the one I require least. Have you not seen his live streams? God almighty. Yeah, so this is going to be the new setup. I've got a new portable electric telephone thing. Well, I haven't got a new one. I've got a new one arriving tomorrow. My iPhone, for those who haven't seen the daily diary, my very elderly iPhone 6, which I have somewhere. My very elderly iPhone 6 has been out on filming duties today. I'm going to tell you all about it today in a moment. But yeah, it started to kind of fall apart a bit. I don't know if you can see there, but it started all bowing out and whatnot. And it was just time for a bit of an update. So I've got a new splendid one coming, which is supposed to be super duper for filming, and that means that the iPhone 6 is being cast aside. It's been a faithful old friend over the years, has this. I've bear with me one moment. One second, please. Technical support here. Excuse me, darlings. There we are. Press that. Where did I get to? Right, yeah. So one of the other problems with the iPhone 6 when it comes to live streams is that this is so old now that it won't run a current YouTube app. It will only run a very, very old one, a very old version. And that means that a lot of functionality simply isn't available. So, for example, you know the live together where you have two of you doing a joint live. I can't do that on this because it's an old version of the app. So it was just time for an update all round. So hopefully the thing that's coming tomorrow is going to give much better visuals. It's supposed to have much better auto stabilization. So the in-car filming should be better, so on and so on and so on. And so my iPhone X, which has been slightly disastrous and which has the microphone issue, I thought that might be all right for lives. It's recent enough that it's got the latest app, and I thought if I use it with a microphone, then hopefully all will be well. And the iPhone X can become the permanent live stream camera. You know where it's set up. You've seen it on other videos. You know, it's down the other end of the table. It's all plumbed in properly after I got busy with the drill and so on. So cut a long story short, this is the test session. And as you all saw, I made a frightful cock up because I'm not used to using this app. All of my live streams have been done on that. And apparently I didn't realize. So I've tried to start 2 or 3. And it's in portrait mode, and I can't turn it into landscape mode. I didn't realize that when you go into the advanced settings, when you're setting the live stream up, there's an option there for portrait mode or landscape mode, and it defaults to portrait. So there we are. I've learned from that, and hopefully we won't have any more cock-ups or any repetitions of that cock-up. So before I start telling you about, well, let's do it properly. A very warm welcome to Monday Night Live with me, Boaty, coming into your eyes and your ears over the next, well, I don't know over the next, to be honest. I don't know how long I'm going to last. For those who don't know, I have been on an acquisition adventure with Captain Mustard today, and we have been to Llandudno in North Wales. Yes, where I was last Monday, but last Monday was on a jolly. Today we were buying and collecting a car, specifically a pre-facelift Rover 25. Actually, is it pre-project drive? Oh, Mustard, are you watching? Is it a PPD? I'm not absolutely sure. It's or Joe, are you watching? You'll know. It's on an X plate. So, and I'm absolutely knackered. I drove from here to the Yard of Dreams, and then from the Yard of Dreams, we drove to Llandudno, picked up the car, back to the Yard of Dreams, through all of the traffic, and then I had to drive home through the most ridiculous fog that you've ever seen. I thought I was going to have to park up and sleep in the bloody car for the night. So, but I will keep going as long as I possibly can. I'll certainly make it through as far as 11 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock, I will pour a glass of wine. And who knows, A glass or two of the old cold white stuff might see me through until midnight, by which time I will be clinically dead. So let's see who I've got. Ashley Stewart, good evening to you. You hope I'm well, and that's kind. I hope you're well too. Evening, Boaty, says Chaz Brown. You got the camera sorted, sir? Eventually, yeah. Took me a while to realise what I was doing wrong, but look, widescreen. Look, you can see all of my arms. John Moretti says, looking and sounding good. It was like a mustard live stream. What indeed. Pingu says, good afternoon, Lord of the Bernie Rajabottis. Good afternoon to you, Pingu. Always a pleasure. Trisha, hello. Cheeseburger. Carlos Fandango, super wide wheels. Diddly do. They do indeed, Cheeseburger. We can see your curtains now, says Pingu. Good God, can you? Can you? God, yeah, you actually can, can't you? This is a whole new world, isn't it? This is a whole new world. Who knew that there was life after an iPhone 6? Good God. No, they don't, Cheeseburger, and the curtains need to see a dry cleaners. They bloody don't. For a start, they're washable, so they don't need to go to a dry cleaner. And for a second, I've washed them, you cheeky swine. I'm never inviting you round for bloody lunch, Cheeseburger. If we have lunch, we'll go to the hotel over the road. I'm not having you coming round and criticising me curtains like something I can't mention. Interesting. Adam, Pure Evil, says, that's not an expanding battery, is it? Also, good evening, everyone. Adam, you could very well be absolutely correct, to be honest. Now, what I assumed, perhaps wrongly, again, you can see that the screen is kind of bowing out there. Now, what I assumed was going on was that because this phone is knocking on a bit, and because I keep it permanently in, or virtually permanently, in a stand that clamps it like that, I assumed that it was just starting to give way. But somebody else, who was it? I think it was Kevin Craven, said in a comment on the Daily Diary video that it could be the battery reaching the end of its life. And God knows this phone is what? How old? 8 years, 9 years, 10 years? I don't know. And apparently when the batteries reach end of life, they do expand. So, Adam, it could very well be that. But anyway, the whole kit and caboodle needed upgrading, let's be honest. So let's hope that we're in for improvements all around. Oh, and I've also ordered, going mad on the technology here, darlings, I've ordered one of those gimbal, grandmother things. One of those super posh things that you can hold and it'll whiz itself around and keep everything stable, keep the camera level, and you can use it as a tripod and put it on a thing or hold it up. Yeah, I've ordered one of those, finally. How long were we talking about me using a gimbal? How long ago? Probably 8 months ago, and it's taken me all of that time to actually get one. But, well, I say get one. I haven't got it yet. I mean, I've ordered it from one of those dodgy Chinese websites, so it'll probably arrive sometime in late February and possibly not be any good, or it might arrive in 10 days' time and be absolutely wonderful. Fingers crossed, darlings. Is that Cheeseburger? No, I don't think there is any evidence that I need to remove from the old phone. Because in this day and age, especially with Apple stuff, then nothing is just on one phone, is it? It's all combined with the cloud. So what's on one device ends up on all of your other devices, plural, thank you very much. And there's not much dodgy stuff on. I mean, there's a couple. Well, hang on. There might be a couple of photos. There's certainly no videos, nothing of that nature. There are a couple of photographs that that wouldn't be for public consumption, shall we say. Oh, and film the unboxing, says Cheeseburger. I will do. Oh, hello. Mustard is here, but not here. Editing time, and hello, everyone. And there's there's a fair bit of editing to do. because we've got quite a lot of footage today. It's been a long day. Hopefully we've got lots of good. It's been a good day. I've enjoyed it. I'm not looking forward to Wednesday. Wednesday is possibly going to kill me. Again, for those who don't know, on Wednesday, we are delivering a streetwise that we have sold, and we're delivering it to Norwich. And Wednesday's a school day, or rather Wednesday's a work day, which means that I've got to get to the restaurant that night, which means that at the very latest, I've got to get my arse out of Windy Bottom at 8 a.m. Now, I'm sure that 8 a.m. would be a perfectly reasonable time to many of you, but you probably don't have my lifestyle, and I think you're probably aware of just what leaving at 8 a.m. is going to mean to me. And it is not going to be easy. I'm not looking forward to it. And even leaving at, well, I'm kind of looking forward to it, but even leaving at 8. Now, Norwich from here is a 4-hour trip if all goes well. So if we leave at 8, that gives us an hour of contingency time. So that's got to include delays on the way there or on the way back, stopping for fuel, trying to shovel some food down the little red lane, all of that sort of thing. So it's going to be a tight old day and a long old day, a bloody long old day. So we will be driving 2 cars, obviously, to Norwich, coming back in. Oh, but it's not even that simple then, because of course we'll be coming back in 1 car, but Mustard has got to get back to the yard. So we're going to be going in we're going to be going in 2 streetwise, or 2 streetwises, whatever the plural is of streetwise. So Mustard won't be coming here in the morning. We're going to meet somewhere en route, because he'll be going like that. I'll be going like that. We will meet somewhere and convoy to Norwich, which is a long way away. And then we'll be coming back in 1 car. But of course, I've got to get to work. Mustard's got to get home. So we'll be coming back to Windy Bum, hopefully before 5 o'clock. The streetwise Barney will be staying here. Mustard will be jumping into Miss Boo, and Mustard will be taking Miss Boo to the Yard of Dreams, where, because Miss Boo is due an MOT within the next couple of weeks. So Mustard's going to take Miss Boo. Miss Boo will have her MOT, then assuming all goes well, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't, then the following Monday, Mustard will bring Miss Boo back here on early doors Monday morning, and we will then go back to the Yard of Dreams for our usual day. Not sure what we'll be doing. We could be buying a car, delivering a car, buggering about in the yard, goodness only knows. But the point is, we will be going in Dicker Dum Dum, and Mustard is very keen to do a test drive and review video on Dicker Dum Dum, because he is probably the only relatively major motoring type YouTuber never to have got his arse in to do a test drive. Matt's done one, James has done one, Mark on Motoring has done one, God knows how many other people have done one. I've kind of done one, although I still plan to do. Oh, excuse me, bear with me 1 second. Hello? Hello, I'm fine. Yeah. Can you not? Did you click on the link? Are you signed into your Google account? Well, if you click on the link. Okay. Sorry, guys. And now I've completely lost track of where I was. What was I talking about? Not a clue. So I'll just carry on. Oh, yeah, I was talking about the 45. So that's about that. So that is the plan. But Wednesday is going to be a killer, because I've got all of that long day and then I've got to go to work. So, yeah. What is the black UFO on the other side of the fridge? That Who asked that? Pingu. This Pingu, it's a windscreen mount that I can't use as a windscreen mount because it's one of those that is configured that it will only hold the phone in a portrait position. So that's no good for filming on a windscreen. On a flat surface, you can hold it in landscape. So, you know, I've bought it, I'm stuck with it. So I thought, so I use it now and then, either on a window on the cottage at the front or on the back, and I use it for filming stuff. And in the meantime, I thought it can live just there on the fridge. Ex-Lloyd is pre-project drive according to Pingu. Oh, well, that's another bonus then, isn't it? John Moretti is he's broken out the Vino Rosso, bit of the old red one. Oh, hello, Neil's here. Oh, fabulous. Neil is here, aka the Gibbinator, and says, hello all from Barmouth. Oh, I'm insanely jealous. Absolutely beautiful day today and yesterday, and loving every minute of it. Brilliant. Oh, well, have a fabulous time, Neil. God knows you've earned it. You deserve it. Hello all, says Joe. Hope you are all okay and had a good day. Hello, Joe. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you're okay too. Pingu says, the widescreen makes you look slimmer, old chap. Well, I prefer to look at it the other way. The old one made me look fatter than I really am because you know me, I'm like a racing snake, sweethearts. You know that. You all saw me in the bath yesterday. Or some of you did. Oh, right. That's it. Where is the microphone? Says John. It goes quiet and muffled when you come to the phone. The microphone is where it has been, which is here, clipped onto the cable. But if I'm going to move around, then perhaps I should actually clip it on me. So there you are. We don't want to be going quiet and muffled. The curtains look like, oh, hello, Jimmy Quinn is here. The curtains look like what closes behind the coffin. Oh, dear. They are patterned. They're patterned, but they're quite a subtle. God, you really can see the curtains, can't you? God, you can see the curtains, and you can't see what's on the radiator, can you? Oh, thank God for that. I wouldn't want you seeing my pants. And you can see, oh, God, you can see all of that. You're getting a whole new view, aren't you? Adam says, I would be surprised if your clamp is strong enough to warp the chassis of even a 6. Just something to be cautious of. Lithium-ion batteries don't go quietly. They don't go gently into that good night when they die. It's fire and brimstone. Oh, right. Okay. Advise me, Adam, what should I do with it? Sign it out of everything and throw it carefully in the black bin? Give me a clue. Joe is also editing. Neil's had an amazing time so far. The house is absolutely stunning. Oh, are you in an Airbnb? Holiday cottage type of thing. Stunning. Steps are a bit on the steep side, but the pubs at the end of them are all good there. Excellent. Oh, Jimmy, Norwich is 20 miles from you. Oh, we're going to be in your neck of the woods then. But we're going to be on a super tight schedule. So sadly, we won't have time to nip in and nag you for a cup of coffee. I go to bed at 5 a.m, says Barry Scrotter. I've been known to do that myself. Blackline says, I'd be giving myself much more than an hour's contingency. Well, yeah, ideally I would too, but that would mean leaving even earlier than 8. And, you know, the chances of that are slim. I work late and then I've got other stuff to do. Oh, I could try and stretch another half an hour. I'd rather just drive faster and earn half an hour by driving like a lunatic. Going into Streetwise, is it a bug off? Well, no, one of them sold and the other one is the most economical car to do the road trip in. I haven't got a car that's more economical than buying it the Streetwise, so it makes sense to go in there. Tricky chaps, internet, says John Moretti, and you're absolutely right. Video time. Oh, yeah, don't forget it is your bounden duty to name this live stream tonight, good people. And here's the first suggestion. Video title, phone sex, click on the link. I quite like that. We'll screenshot that. Well done, Cheeseburger. Oh, no, on the other side of the fridge, says Pingu. What? Where? What you on about? You can't see the other side of the fridge. I don't know to what you're referring, Pingu. What can you see to the side of the fridge? I don't know. Help me out, mate. Pingu says Mustard could use Boo to reposition Roger Boaty whilst in the yard of Boaty's MOT fails. Oh, you bugger, Pingu. That is a very good suggestion, and we have already talked about it. So, yeah, that is kind of going to be the plan. Blackline says, if you're taking 2 cars to Norwich, who's driving the new car back? We're not buying one, Blacklines. We're delivering a car that we've sold. The buyer wanted it delivered and made us an offer that we couldn't refuse if we were prepared to do it. So there we are. Barry, that guy from SETI Alpha 5, says, hello, Jason. Hello, all. Hope you're okay. Skick says, well, you are getting the cars in. We are indeed. Have you thought of spending more time on the car business and less on the restaurant? That's quite a good question, actually, Skick. Yeah, I've thought about it, but I can't do it. Not at the moment. It is the restaurant that's paying the bills, you see, and I can't really forget that. And the car business, such as it is quite a long way from paying the bills. And to be fair, even if everything else went really well, let's say the channel went superbly well, let's say the car business really started building, then I would be in a difficult situation because I've got a lot of loyalty towards the restaurant. I would find it very difficult to in any way move away from that. If things went really, really well, then all I could see happening would be, in an ideal case scenario, if things went fantastically well, then what I think I would probably do would be to set up a form of permanent office, which could just be Roger Boaty, but a kind of office in the Yard of Dreams, which could just be Roger Boaty plumbed into the electricity and with a bit of water and so on. And then what I'd have to do then would be maybe 4 days a week, base myself at the yard and do a commute. So maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, base myself at the yard during the day, but then I would still travel back to the, to the restaurant at night, because there are potential things happening with the restaurant as well. And as I talked about the other day, I'm being asked to take on a bit more responsibility. There's talk of a new 3rd branch. There's talk of, there are things happening, and or things potentially happening anyway. So for the foreseeable future, for the next year or possibly 2, then while things figure out, then it's all going to have to be juggled at the same time. Because, bear in mind that in all truth, in all, being brutally honest, then the YouTube channel and the car business, at the moment, it's a hobby. It's not neither, or not even combined. They're not bringing in remotely enough money to even think about making changes anywhere else in life. I agree that I'm putting a hell of a lot of time and effort into them, but that's like an investment into the future. bit of a gamble. It may pay off. It may well not do. But neither are anywhere near making any kind of really pivotal changes to anything else. So they're going to have to continue to be juggled. And I can't see that situation changing in the next 12 months, to be honest, but we'll see what happens. Do you have red under? No, I don't, cheeseburger. They're upstairs. Stiff Upper of his ear and says, hello, Boaty. I'm playing Here Comes the Night, Van Morrison. Oh, jolly good. Right, Black Lines, you get it. Yeah, no new car, selling one. Cheeseburger's on form tonight. A stream title from Steve Cole. Boaty's going to end up with bed bugs. Yeah, what's that thing? What's that thing going on in? Oh God, I'm a bit behind with the news, darlings. I've managed to keep on top of the important things like Formula One and boxing, but the rest of the news I'm a bit behind. But there's something mad going on in Paris, isn't there? Is it Paris? Where there's some bed bug epidemic going on of some nature, and all of the Parisians are losing their minds, and possibly their bed sheets. Oh, the black round thing on the worktop, Pingu. Oh, yeah. I put my wallet there now, so you can't see. Is it? I think it's the coffee machine. I think it's the coffee machine that you're seeing, or the microwave. The black things over here. You've got You've got three things on that worktop, the far side of the fridge in the alcove. You've got from right to left. You've got a microwave. You've got the coffee machine. And then you've got the little tabletop oven that I use. Again, for those who don't know, I've got a perfectly normal oven over there. It was brand new, part of the kitchen when I moved in, had a new kitchen. And I think I've used that oven once in 8 years. I used the little tabletop job, save a bit of fuel. Video title, iPhone X-rated. Oh, think about it. That's rather good, actually. No, there are no fluffy handcuffs drying on the radiator, Pingu. Oh, dear. Cheeseburger says, Boaty is loyal to the restaurant. When everything takes off, he will say bollocks to the restaurant. Yeah. Well, that's what they think as well. That's what they think will happen. We'll see. I don't know. I really don't know, because you think about it, then the restaurant stuff that I do is in the evenings, right? Now, what else am I going to do in the evenings? I could edit videos, but I'm not going to do much filming in the evenings, certainly not over winter. So what else am I going to do? How would I use my time? I'm not going to be, I think I've got a work ethic. I've always had a work ethic. And I would rather be working than doing nothing. Now, I mean, all of my time is pretty much taken up at the moment. But I am just about doing pretty much almost everything that I kind of need to do. I could do with about another hour in every day. So if I suddenly had all of my evenings free, what would I do? I mean, I could probably fill an hour or two, but that's going to leave me with 3 hours left in the evening where I've got nothing to do. And I wouldn't cope very well with that. I don't cope well when I've got nothing productive to do. You know, I don't have television. You know, I can't stand sitting on my ass doing nothing. I don't think I would enjoy that. I mean, before Monday, I've told you this before, but the way that Mondays used to be, before I met Mustard and Monday became the yard day, and before I was doing live streams, Then on Monday, I had nothing to do during the day, nothing to do at night. It used to be a restaurant day. We used to be open 7 days, and then we started closing on Mondays. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Now, I could just about find something to do during the day, during daylight hours, but then the evenings, especially in the winter, when it's cold and, I'm just here in the cottage with nothing to do. And I used to get depressed. I used to get really depressed. Before that, it was okay when I was living with Boo. Then obviously that was okay because on a Monday night we did family things. But when just here, me on my own, I don't want to be sitting on my own with nothing to do in the evening. I'd rather go to the restaurant because it's also, bear this in mind as well, guys. Now, as you know, I'm a man who's pretty happy with my own company, but like anybody else, I would suffer from solitude, and so that's my bit of social contact. Contact the restaurants in the evening. I like people. I love my own company, but I also like people, or as Mustard said, apart from the kind of people that I don't like. And I value that. I value the contact with my friends, with my family, because they are family to me. We have a great laugh. It's good for me. It's good for my health. It's good for my mental health. I love the interaction with the customers. And it's a family business. I cared about it. I can't see, no matter what happens, I just can't see me turning my back on it entirely. But, never say never. As I said, we will see what happens. Hello, everyone, says Ross. A nice widescreen VMAX cinema style live. I'm still scarred by the burning buttocks daily. Yeah, I may have recorded part of my daily diary in the bath. And I may have had a game of Bernie bum cheeks. Now, I'll let you into a little secret. When I was filming in the bath, I was, as you would expect, completely stark, naked. And I had to do some quite careful editing. I had to do some very careful editing. And this is absolutely true. Right. After editing the footage that, for very obvious reasons, couldn't possibly make it, I deleted it immediately because I thought I daren't let that still be anywhere available to me after I've had a glass of wine, because God only knows what I could do with it. I could start a bloody OnlyFans channel with it, couldn't I? Oh dear. Keep things ticking over nicely, says Black Lines. The YouTube channel is growing. Car acquisitions are helping with content, and your bills are paid from the day job. Ugh. It's they're not quite, to be honest. Yeah, they're not quite. It's from the day job or evening job or whatever. Then my exes are, and my expenses. I say exes, you might think I'm talking about previous lady friends. My exes are quite high living here, and the earnings from the job don't cover them, in all honesty. So I've always had to have some form of side hustle in order to keep my head even slightly above water, or even just on a level with the water, or probably more accurately, to slow down the level of debt that I'm getting into. So Yeah, don't think that anything that comes from YouTube or from the car side of things, don't think that that's just banging into disposable income. It's not. It's money that's needed in the pot, and I do need a bit more of it. But you're absolutely right. Shouldn't run before I can walk. Money disappears very quickly without a job. Yeah, it was. The black thing was the wallet, says John Moretti. It wasn't, because I only just put that there. That wasn't there when Pingu was commenting about the other stuff. I was looking to see what Pingu could see, and I realised that I'd put the wallet in the way. I've still got my stuff in my pockets that I've had all day, including Wilfred wallet and my few coins. Coffee machine, says Pingu. Video title from Cheeseburger. Following tech upgrade. For those of you watching in black and white, the curtains need watching. Oh, dear. If that's going to be the title, it might be a bit too long, but if it's not too long, that is going to be the title. Is it 1 o'clock yet? Not quite. Okay. Right, so I think we've got the technical side of things reasonably sorted. So that's good. It'll be interesting to see what the new thing is like for filming with. We will find out on Wednesday's road trip. What else have I got to tell you? Okay, well, when did I see you last, you lovely people? It was Thursday night, wasn't it? So, oh no, it was Friday. We did that unexpected live on Friday, didn't we? So obviously Joseph came round on Friday afternoon, and that was great. And then on Saturday, my best friend from school, Chris Mills, who I last saw in 1987 when we were 16 and we got our O-level results. And that day of going into school to get our results, that was the last time that I saw Chris until Saturday, when he came over on a visit. Sadly, his mother's not well, and he's lived in Australia for the last 15 years. And amazingly, thanks to the YouTube channel, we caught up with each other online. And so he was in the UK, and he came round to see me, came for lunch on Saturday. And that was an extraordinary experience, absolutely lovely, but really also quite bizarre and extraordinary. And one of the most extraordinary things to come from it was that the idea that I've got somewhere of what I was like as a child or as a teenager was, according to Chris, quite inaccurate. Because when I asked Chris to describe what I was like back then, he described me as, well, he kind of described me like I am now. I think he said that I was eccentric, very eccentric, driven, intellectually arrogant, and that I was always had one or more money-making schemes on the go, and that I was very inventive with things, and that I was a bit of a blagger. So pretty much what I am now, and I had no memory of being like that as a kid. Do you like Boaty's dangly bits? Then tap that button, tap that like button, viewers. Yeah, if any of you feel inclined to tickle the like button, I won't be at all offended. Burning buttocks. I thought the plug hole was blocked, says Cheeseburger. Years ago, says Skick, when I split with my partner, she had a big family. And her family over the years became mine. So it did become a bit of a shock getting used to not being involved with them. Well, I had exactly the same thing, Skick. When I met Maggie and then eventually got married, of course, I overnight acquired 4 wonderful stepchildren. But in the Irish way of things, I also acquired a very large extended family. And they were the kind of people who did a lot of family stuff with which I was, quite naturally involved. And because there'd been a geographical change of location, then I didn't know anybody else up in this neck of the woods at that point. So naturally, Maggie's family became my entire social circle. So yeah, I completely get where you're coming from there, Skip, because the same thing happened to me after the divorce. I went again effectively overnight from having a huge family support network, social network, and four amazing children who I love dearly, and a lovely wife. Uh, like that, I went having absolutely nothing and being entirely isolated. So yeah, I totally get that, Skick, and yeah, it does take a bit of getting over. But the shock didn't last long, goes on Skick. Move on and be happy. Well, that's the idea. Uh, oh, hello. And speaking of the devil, Chris is here. Of course, it's wine o'clock. At least I can have a drink with you now. Cracking open a wine bottle on a train at 8:30 a.m. is not a good look. Yeah, this is one of the things I discovered on Saturday. When Chris watches these live streams live, he's on his way to work. Now, Chris lives in a beautiful house in what looks like an amazing part of the world, about 50 kilometers outside of Melbourne. And his routine in the mornings, he works right in the middle of Melbourne. So his morning routine is he drives his son's car, because his son has nicked his car, to the train station, which is pretty much on the on the coast, on the Victoria coast. And then he has an hour's train journey from the train station right into the middle of Melbourne. And it's literally right along the coast. It looks absolutely fantastic, stunning views. And so that's what he's doing. That's where he's watching the lives. He's watching me rambling on about absolute nonsense and shoveling wine down my little redneck while he's on this incredibly scenic rail journey at between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. So, but yeah, Chris, we could have a drink together tonight. That would be nice. Obviously, we couldn't do it during the day on Saturday, but we will raise a virtual glass together in just 7 short minutes from now. Cheeseburger says, Chris, so you described him as a bit of a a bit of a see you next Tuesday. And Finger says, once a see you next Tuesday, always a see you next Tuesday. Oh dear. Steve Colger's been in the same boat as me and Skick, and he says, I'm loving the piece now. Yeah, well, you have to embrace it, don't you? But it is, it's a culture shock when it first happens. There's no two ways around that. So that was Saturday, and that was fabulous. There's now I tell you what, on Saturday's daily diary, I put up the bit of footage over lunch, but I've got a load of other footage. I just left the camera running in the kitchen while Chris and I chatted. Now, occasionally we went outside so I could have an addiction break, but there should still be a lot of footage from in the kitchen. If any of you would be interested in seeing that and listening to us reminisce over old times and what happened when we were kids and so on and so forth, I've got all of the footage, so I'll bang it together in a fairly unedited thing and chuck it up there if anybody would be remotely interested. Good evening, says Simone, hooked on classics. Good evening to you, Simone. Thank you for joining us. And right, there we are. We are almost at... Oh, I didn't put my wine in the freezer to chill, did I? God. Okay, so hi Simone, you've missed Technology Corner. Yeah, that's a blessing. That's good. I hate modern tech. It's not exactly modern tech, Simone. It's well, Simone, to explain, you are now, instead of being on a very elderly iPhone 6, you're on a very slightly less elderly iPhone X. to explain that. And then there's a new phone coming tomorrow, which is going to be my new filmy phone. Now, I did have a look at iPads tonight because I would desperately love a new iPad. I've had this one 12 months. I should have gone for one with a bigger memory capacity, because sometimes editing is very difficult when I've got a lot of footage downloaded. And I would love the bigger screen. This is the smallest screen one they did, and I would love the 12.9-inch screen. So I was browsing those, and I think it's going to be beyond me. To upgrade to one of them is going to cost 99 quid up front and then £33 a month, and that is just beyond me. So I think that's going to have to wait another year. This is on a 2-year thing. So in another year's time, this time next year, this one will finish, and then I can get a new one and start a new doings. I'm sure I can cope for another year. I justified the phone because the phone worked out. I think I told all this in the daily diary. Upgrading the phone. Now I upgraded the phone, which was an extra £16 per month, but I downgraded because they separate them now, or at least my service provider does. So you have two deals going on. One is for the device and one is for the airtime. So I upgraded the device, which is costing an extra 16 quid a month. But I downgraded my airtime package because it said I wasn't using it. I was paying for a 25 something data allowance, and it said I'm not using anything like that. I could get away with having an 8 thingy data allowance, which is £10 per month cheaper. So the new phone is actually only costing me £6 a month. So by doing that, then I upgrade the live stream phone as we have done now. So you get a bit more widescreen. I've got access to the latest features on the app. I can do the joint lives now, should I wish to, should anybody want to jump in with me on the live stream. And I get what will hopefully be a better filmy camera. It's supposed to have, when I looked at it's not a new one. I know the iPhone 15 is out. I can't afford anything like that. As you know, the one I upgraded to finally this time last year is this one, and that's an iPhone 11. The one I've got coming tomorrow is just an iPhone 13. But according to the blurb, and you know, we know the blurb isn't always entirely accurate, but when it comes to that one, then they really concentrate on selling the camera performance, and particularly the movie making thing on the camera. It's supposed to have much better image stabilization, much better camera generally. So the idea is that the new one I will use strictly as a filming camera, or as a filming phone, and I'll continue using this as my actual phone. It makes sense to have the one with because I don't use my phone for much. I find phones too small, too fiddly for my big old sausage fingers. Things that I tend to do on my iPad. That's why I hate using WhatsApp, because I can't use WhatsApp on a tablet. I have to try and use it on a phone. It's too small to type, and I talk nonsense. Oh, hello, it's wine o'clock. Happy days. Yeah, so this is going to carry on being my phone, and the new one will be a filming phone. And I'd love to get pictures as good as Mustard's. And his stabilization must be fantastic, because his in-car videos are beautifully smooth and steady. But if you look at his mount, as I was today, and don't read anything into that, his windscreen mount, it's one of those flexible ones. It's not a fixed one. It's on a flexible, one-day army thing. And his phone is going like that. And yet his images are superb. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get something like that with this newer phone. And if I do, then finally filming in the F and the TF might actually become possible, and getting a workable result. So I'm quite hopeful. Oh, and getting the gimbal thing should be a big plus as well for when I'm doing handheld stuff. It's about time I tried. I mean, I've been saying that I'll invest in some bits and pieces for, well, probably for the whole of the last year. I should tell you about today, shouldn't I? And the car and whatnot. But let's just get back to some comments. Oh yes, Skick says no more misering from the ladies. I do what I like and I love it. That's the ticket. Boaty asked Pingu, have you ever driven a Talbot Matra, isn't it? Rancher? Yes, I have, Pingu, but a very, very long time ago. I also drove the, oh, what was it? Can't remember what it was called. Was it was it a Morena or something? It was a 3 abreast seater sports car. Bristol Brian had one of those, and yeah, I raced that around for a while. Oh, cheers, darlings, and cheers, Chris. It was lovely to see you on Saturday. You're very good health, sir. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in the UK as much as you can under the circumstances, and safe journey back. Love to your family, and every good wish for how things go here. Oh, still got a bit of Rimto on the old palate. Oh, that's nice and cold there. Oh, and the alcohol is burning a nice little path down. Excellent. Right, well, let's see if we can get through the next hour as well, can we? I've made 1 hour. I've had, says Simone, a very stressful day. Well, sorry to hear that, Simone. Would you like to share? Good evening, says Nita Walker, and a very good evening. A very good evening to you. Still applies, says Simone. I fucking hate iPhones. Oh, right, fair enough. Jimmy's got an iPhone to do his banking. Nita Walker is also not a fan of iPhones, apparently. Adam says, I've got my eye on one of the new 15 Pros. Very tempted. Not sure it's in the budget right now, though. Ah, well, yeah. Simone says, my insurance with Lancaster is due in 2 days. They sent a renewal going from 365 quid to £706. Gosh, I spent most of the day trying to find something. And I was just about to say something, and I've seen the next comment. Any progress with Port O'Brien yet? Says Finger. Well, going back to the insurance, I've just had an insurance renewal through. Well, I had one, and it was for Brian, and it is with Lancaster. And I was in 2 minds whether to renew it or not. I was happy enough with the price, I must say, to be fair. We all know that insurance has gone up across the board quite recently. So, and it was only a very slight increase on last year's premium, which was already very reasonable. But I was in 2 minds whether to renew the insurance. So I'm not sure that I'm ever going to get Brian back, in all honesty. I mean, if you saw the state of him today, he looks like a scrap car that's been abandoned. He looks dreadful. Is there any progress on him? Asked Pingu. No, none whatsoever. He's not been touched since Neil left. And I just don't know what to do now. Because of the way that Neil left him, he can't be moved, right? So I can't just get him into the garage next door to get them to do it. Neither can I get him anywhere else. So I'm just at a loss now. I don't know what to do with him, and I'm kind of wishing that I hadn't renewed the insurance, because I think it's going to end up being scrapped. To be brutally honest, which is a shame. But what can I do? I mean, he's now in a state where he can't even be moved. You know, you move him a foot and it's going to rip the drive shaft out, apparently. So I don't know what to do. I think, and he looks terrible. And of course, he's getting in Mustard's way. It's, you know, taking up a space, and he's blocking the space right outside the door. So I think the point will come probably quite soon where I just have to get somebody to come and lift him away and take him to be weighed in, which is a shame after everything that Neil was kind enough to do. But I just don't know what else to do. It's a bit like when Shison was stuck there for all of those months. I hate looking at him. He's got moss growing everywhere, all out of him. He's more green than he is silver, and it's a shame. The battery is completely dead. That expensive new battery that I put on, that's shot now. The tires have gone flat. I think they're pumped up now, but they've been flat, so they're probably so if they've been flat on the rim, then they're probably going to be scrapped now. You know, they'll have become all cracked and whatnot. And honestly, it's just looking as if he's too far gone. Bless him. Which is a shame because I was very fond of that little guy. Oh, Cheeseburger says, Jimmy, I don't go anywhere near banking apps. Very insecure on a phone. Some insurance suggestions for Simone. And Cheeseburger says, my Samsung makes telephone calls as well. Very hackable, apparently. Well, anybody's welcome to hack my bank account. Maybe they'll add some money into it. Oh, dear. Oh, bless you, Simone. Started feeling sick as I hadn't eaten and went through 10 quotes ranging up to £900. I eventually found Footman James, 328 quid. I burst into tears when I heard the lady say that. Oh, bless you. Oh, well, so that's good. So it was 365, and now it's 328. So you've had a pants day, but at least it ended up okay. Rover Joe is here. Rover Joe, the lovely Rover Joe. Boaty. Hi Joe, how you doing, mate? So glad you're here. Cheeseburger says, I've heard other classic car owners moan about Lancaster renewals. That quote is more than I pay fully comp on a 50k car, which is fully financed, no equity. Well, you know my history with Lancaster. I don't have much good to say about them. And they do have the auto renewal business model, and if you contact them, if you don't renew automatically, then they chase you. They ring you every day. They email you saying, "Are you going to renew it? Are you going to renew it?" And you know, if you speak to them, then you will get your renewal premium down. But it's such a ball ache to do. I mean, in this day and age, if I have to do something with Lancaster Insurance, then between the time it takes that you're on hold, because they're clearly not well staffed enough, and then the time where it goes through it and they have to read out all of these ridiculous scripts, then it's an hour out of your day. And I don't have an hour out of my day to waste on the bloody phone. I dread it. There was genuinely a situation when I was insuring Minge Bag, and I took what I knew to be a more expensive quote online because I couldn't be asked to spend hours and hours and hours on the phone. I got a reasonable quote online. Now I know what I pay for Wetleg, so I know what I should be paying for Minge Bag. And the online quote was over that. But I thought, if I just do this thing online, it's done. It's finished with. It's over and done with. And it's going to save me an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours if I have to call multiple companies of going through all of that nonsense on the phone. So I just did the online thing purely for convenience. It drives me mad having to spend an hour on the phone with, especially when it's with an insurance company that you've already got. I mean, I had 8 policies with Lancaster. I've still got about 4, maybe 5. And it's ridiculous that you have to go through that each time. You know, oh, God almighty. When you're that loyal a customer, or, you know, you've got that many, you know, there should be a way around it. You shouldn't have to wait on hold for half an hour. You shouldn't have to go through all of that crap while they read out all of those dreadful scripts that you, oh, God. The Bagheera 3-seater, says Ross. Yep, that rings a bell. I remember being very impressed with the, it had things in the, I mean, we're going back a long, long time. A long, long time. I remember at the time it seemed incredibly futuristic that it had stuff going on in the roof, like a fighter jet. Cheers, says Chris. It was great seeing you in person. Cheers again, Chris. Your good health. Poor Brian, says Joe. Yes, indeed. Joe says, I thought Mustard was doing the welding. It's, you know, bless him. I'm sure he would love to do it, but I mean, look how long it took to do the caliper on Shison. It's just the way things are. He's got a heart as big as a house, but look at Shison. He needed a caliper for MOT, one caliper. One of you lot very kindly gave us a caliper, so it just needed to be fitted. And that took, what, 7 months? So I can't, you know, if the welding was done, I can't see seeing it being done this side of spring. Oh, bless you, Neil. Do you want me to come up and finish it off? You've already done too much, mate. But yes, please, I'll bring you loads of Momo. I'll bribe you in any way I can. Don't scrap it, says Joe. What needs to happen to fix him? Says Anna. He needs, oh, Neil would tell you, he needs a small plate welding on or something, and then he needs a drop link and another thing, an arm thing, couple of £10 parts, I believe. John says you can cancel insurance within 10 days or something. I think it's 14. Get a proper mobile mechanic in for Brian. Dear. Scrap it, says Skick, and put the money towards a new clutch in the Land Rover. Ah, right, okay. Well, hopefully the Freelander's not going to need a new clutch for a while. Admittedly, on that night, I did get it to slip twice. It hasn't slipped since because I've been driving it properly. So it's going to go at some point. But as I said at the time, I had an S-Type that was behaving like that, and it stayed like that for all the time I owned it and never actually failed, never got any worse. And the Freelander's not as bad as that. I mean, during normal driving, it doesn't slip. You know, no doubt it will probably get worse. Clutches don't last forever. But I'm hoping that with, you know, relatively limited use, that clutch might limp along for a couple of years, yeah? Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll go tomorrow. I'm well, thanks, says Joe. How are you? Just been doing some welding. I'll have to send you some photos over. I've been following you on Facebook, Joe. I've been following you on Facebook. Fair play to you. It's incredibly impressive what you're doing, mate. It really is. And I mean that genuinely. Anybody who does anything like that, and that includes Mustard as well, you know, untrained people, not meaning that offensively, who just decide, and same thing with Matt, Furious Driving Matt, and Ian Hubnut. You know, they just think, well, I'll have a go at that. I'll see if I can do that. And I'm so impressed because I couldn't begin to do it. Absolutely couldn't begin. Cancel insurance within 14 days for a full refund, says Pingu. Tomorrow's live, proudly sponsored by Lancaster. I'll tell you what, Cheeseburger, I would take it. I would take it. If Lancaster offered channel sponsorship, I would bloody well take it. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm not in a position where I can turn down money or sponsorship. Now, I see that Steph has left Lancaster, and Steph, of course, was operating as their, I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you'd call it, their mascot. I don't know. Now, if Lancaster approached me and said, we'd love to sponsor your channel, and would you like to be our new mascot? I would say, yes. And I would tell you all to go and insure yourselves with them. I'll do anything for money, mate. That's the great thing about being poor. You lose all of your morality and sense of standards. I mean, it'd be a really good coup for Lancaster. You think about it. I'm on record as saying that they're an absolute shower of what's it. So if they could get me as their brand ambassador, that's the word I was thinking of, not mascot, brand ambassador. And they could say, yeah, well, a couple of people have pointed out that in some areas we weren't quite as good as we could be. So we addressed that, and now we are so fantastic that our biggest critic is now our brand ambassador, with a picture of me going, and then just carefully looking at my bank account to make sure the payment from them had gone in. Cheeseburger says, Joe, I've had 38 years in the banking game. It's changed a bit. Keep your money under your bed. That's safe, says Jimmy. Oh, God. Lard ass in widescreen. Wear protection. Thanks, Pingu. I love you too. Mustard has a heart as big as his. Oh, God. Cheeseburger. Yeah. Joe says, where does it need welding? Where does it need welding? About the front wheelie bit. Don't ask me, Joe. Neil says, I'll come up and sort it out. I'll message you some dates. It needs a new passenger side lower arm and a new drop link. Oh, Neil, you absolute megastar. Right. As many Momo as you can eat. Free bed, breakfast, dinner. I'll wait on you hand and foot. I'll be your butler. I will be your butler. I'll be your maid. I'll wear a short black dress and suspenders and a white pinny, and I will be at your beck and call. I will bring you breakfast in bed and all sorts. Oh, God. Oh, dear. This all sounds like an English version of Hoover's Garage. I've got no idea what that is. Poor old wizard Mustard. Oh, John Stoodley's amongst us right now, midst evening chat, evening Boaty. Good evening to you, John. Oh, hello. Now, the Maestro Montego and Metro Appreciation Club is here and says, good evening. And you never told me what your name was, Mr. or Mrs. MMMAC. But I think I know what it is. Now, you tell me if I'm right. Bear with me. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that the name of the gentleman representing the Maestro or running the Maestro Montego and Metro Appreciation Club, I believe that you are called Pat. Tell me if I'm wrong. And the reason I believe that is I was at the petrol station on Sunday night, fueling up for today's shenanigans. Full tank of fuel in Barney, and I've used it all. Yeah, it's been a long old drive today. And a chap driving a modern car came out of the, having paid for his fuel, came out, saw the streetwise, I was in Barney, saw the streetwise and said, oh, lovely. You don't see many of those anymore. And I said, no, they are becoming fewer and further between. He said, and we just got chatting a very little bit. And he said, I've got a Maestro. I said, funny you should say that. I was in Rill last Monday, and there was a chap watching my live stream who said he was in Rill, and he's something to do with the, I think it's Metro, Maestro and Montego Appreciation Club. He said, in Rill. I said, yeah. He said so, yeah, because he said I should come and see his guys. He said, that'll be Pat. That'll be Pat. He's lovely. Blah, blah, blah. So that's why I think that you are called Pat. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. But he was a lovely guy, lovely chap to chat to. And I had to get off and he had to get off. But he said, so you've got a YouTube channel? I said, yeah. And he said, right, well, I must subscribe to that. I must watch. And then he looked at the Streetwise, which of course has still got mustard stickers in the back window. He said, Project Nigel, right, I'll subscribe. See you later. And drove off, leaving me saying, no, that's not me. That's not me. I'm Boaty's World. I'm not Project Nigel. I need to get rid of those bloody labels. Driving around advertising Mustard's channel. He gets too many views as it is. Oh, dear. Sounds like a plan, says Neil. Just don't wear the pinny. Okay, as you wish. Don't forget the cake. Neil deserves the full Monty of Boaty's perks. I completely agree, Pingu. He does. He's kind of had cake. He had... excuse me. I'm so sorry. He's had a cake equivalent because I treated him and Joe and Sophie to some gulab jamun at the restaurant. But yeah, I'll buy him a whole bloody Battenberg. Don't you worry about that. The widescreen makes you look more like Dracula, Boaty, says Jimmy Quinn. Well, thanks for that. Cheeseburger, hidden comment. Pingu, cake? He deserves a full grease nipple service. Oh, he does. Oh, dear. Neil says, I saw a P5B, probably my favourite Rover, an MGTF and a Rover Streetwise two-door diesel in silver. Whoa. Why don't you get some stickers, Boaty, asked Jimmy Quinn, and I really should do. Now, the lovely Simon of Smashing Bristols was kind enough to make me some stickers, but unfortunately, the material he was using meant they didn't work terribly well. So I really should get some stickers, but I don't know where to get them from. I know you can order them off eBay, but that takes time and effort, and they're probably quite expensive. I should get some stickers. I should. And if anybody knows where I should go, then where I should go to get them or who could do them for me, please point me in the right direction and I will sort them out. Now then, let's talk about today. Let's top my wine up and talk about today, because we went and picked the car up today, didn't we? Me and Mustard. Maybe I should just give you a general update on the sales Mustard and Boaty Do Cars fleet. Although Mustard kind of does that on his videos, doesn't he? Oh, what's going on there? So, a Mustard and Boaty Do Cars fleet update. The Streetwise is sold, we've been paid, and we are delivering that on Wednesday. A couple of the other cars have got serious interest, but a deal hasn't been struck as yet. And the car that we acquired today, let's tell you about that. It is, some of you will have seen a picture, it is an ex-registration Rover 25, 1.4 IL, so fairly puff spec, steel wheels with wheel trims, not got much in the way of goodies, but it has got a working electric sunroof that doesn't leak, as far as we can tell. So that's a bonus. Now, it's a car that is somewhat cosmetically challenged, but it drives absolutely superbly. It's been very well looked after, possibly not very well driven, judging by the bodywork, but Mustard, you know what Mustard's like. He'll be going to town on the body, and he will be improving that, no doubt, out of all recognition. It does drive supremely well, and it's actually been in good hands. Now, it's the person that we bought it from, who was an absolutely lovely Indian lady, young lady, I should add. She has owned the car since 2007. So that's really long-term ownership. And it's been with her in various places. She's lived around the UK. It was a London car for a period. And it ended up somewhat improbably in Llandudno. And I don't know why that should be improbable. It just seems a bit odd that somebody would be in the thriving metropolis and then end up in Llandudno, which isn't really a thriving metropolis. But the car's been very well maintained. It's been properly maintained. It's been maintained by marque experts. It's had the head gasket done relatively recently. I mean, it drives really, really well. It's not low mileage. It's not a rare car. It's not a rare spec, but it's a nice little thing that's been a much loved part of the family. And because of the cosmetic issues, it was in danger of reaching a sticky end. Either being scrapped now or being taken on by some boy racer type who saw the MOT out and thrashed it and then scrapped it. Hello, what's that? Okay. So it was a car that we were very keen to save. And save it we have. It's now safely Shane Mustard. He went home in it tonight. And we will, as we do, we will make sure that it ends up with a very good home, and it will be a perfectly nice little car for somebody. It's not extraordinary in really any way, shape or form. It's nice that it's got a sunroof. It's nice that works. It's just that it'll be a nice, solid little car. So we will, Mustard will tidy up the bodywork. We'll get it through, we'll put a new MOT on it, and somebody can own it and enjoy it. It's got all of the original paperwork, it's got all of the original handbook pack, and if it is pre-project drive, then that will make it a little bit exceptional, won't it? And it's just got that lovely bit of history, being owned since 2007. Oh, bless you, John. I can report on my health that I'm about 70% better now. Thank you, Chat and Boaty, for the kind words. Yeah, we were worried about you, John, but glad to hear that you're well and truly on the mend. That's actually, that's excellent. Ross says, I've actually got a Boaty's World sticker from Simon. I'll try and get it to stick. Good luck, Ross. I didn't get any of them to work. And I thought it was me being hopeless, but Simon said, no, it's not you. I couldn't get them to work either. It was just, I don't know, whatever what you call the material that you print them on. It obviously wasn't the best batch. Cheeseburger says, you need to do each project like salvage rebuilds. At the end of a major project, they detail all costs and profit made, and we'll then tell HMRC for you. Oh dear, another channel I've never heard of. PPD cars have glass and tyres, says Cheeseburger. Well, I can confirm it's got both of those. It's a sweet little car, bless it. It just looks really crappy at the moment. I mean, you know, by the time we've done everything to it, it's not going to be expensive, and you know, we'll only make a tiny little bit of pocket money on it. This was one of those that we did it just to save the car, really. She was obviously very passionate about the car, and we fell for that. I mean, I'll tell you what. So the chances are she won't watch this. She might have been passionate about it, but there was a limit as to her passion, right? I'll tell you this. Don't tell anybody. I'll tell you exactly what happened. This is just between us, right? This is a live stream thing, not for general discussion. So we've looked over the car. We've looked at the important things. The oil is good. It's got the right amount of oil in. The oil is clean. It's got the right amount of coolant in. The coolant is clean. Head gasket's been done. The car looks not great, but you know, she's very passionate about it and whatnot. And so we've surreptitiously given each other the nod that yeah, okay, we'll rescue this. We'll save it. And then she said, "Oh, and I've got a box of bits." So we said, "Oh, okay." She said, "Yeah, I've got, there are spare hubcaps in there, you know, Rover wheel trims. There's the original stereo, because it's got a Sony CD player in there. That the original stereo is in there. There's some oil, the correct 1040 oil. There's some OAT coolant, and so on, if you would like that." And we sort of said, "Oh, yeah, great. She said, "Excellent. I was hoping I could sell it to you." And we said, "Hang on, what? Sell?" And she said, yes. Now, I've looked online, and those original stereos, they go for about 50 or 60 pounds. And you know, there's about a third of this thing of coolant. So she said, "I was thinking, what about £100? I think £100 for the..." And we sort of said, "No, thank you. You're okay. We'll just take the car." Oh dear. And so then, oh God, it ended up. I offered her, right. Maybe I'm being unreasonable here. We just thought that stuff like that would be bunged in with the car, you know, especially as we're rescuing it, and she wanted it to be saved, and so on and so on and so on. So you're looking at, there's one Rover wheel trim used. There's the original cassette stereo. There's an unopened Halfords 1040 5-litre bottle of oil. Then there was another bottle of oil with about half a litre left in it. And there was a bottle of OAT coolant with about a third of the bottle left in it. And so I offered her 30 quid. And she said, "Well, 50. I said, "No, 30 quid. And she said, "No, I'll keep it." So I said, "Right, fine." So we left it. Which is a real shame. I'd love to have had the original stereo, as it's got all of the original handbooks and everything in there. Oh, and there were 2 side light bulbs as well. There were 2 side light bulbs in there. But 100 quid. Bloody hell. So we left it. I mean, you can always use oil, and you can always use coolant. Obviously, they're always going to get a use. Bulbs, I mean, even I've got a drawer full of bulbs, but they might have been used at some point. An extra wheel trim is always handy enough. But given that we've schlepped on an 8-hour trip to get the car, haven't quibbled on the price of the car, despite it cosmetically being worse than we thought, and have promised to give the car a wonderful new home, and we've promised to do this, that, and the other because it's very precious and so on, then, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I would give her 20 quid for the stereo, says Cheeseburger. Well, that's about how I valued it, to be honest. Does oil and coolant have an expiry date? I haven't got a clue. But just out of, I mean, 30 quid. You know, I've done 100 quid in fuel today. And we're not going to make money on this car. We might make a round of drinks, a little bit of pocket money. This is genuinely just a thing where a damsel in distress wanted the car saved. So we said, sod it, we will go out and we will save it. So a whole day, 2 people losing a whole day, an 8-hour drive, or certainly an 8-hour drive for me, plus a little bit, 100 quid in fuel. And then we don't get to take the bits, including the original stereo, for the sake of 20 quid. I thought that was a bit mean, to be honest, but there we are. There we are. And I didn't want to lash out 50 quid on it. So 50 quid seems fair, says John. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but it's not like we didn't need the bulbs. And you know, what's an old cassette stereo worth? It's not. If it was one of the posh Blaupunkt ones, then yeah, maybe. But we don't even know if it works or if she had the code or anything. So, yeah, I thought 30 quid was a fair offer. Oh, it is, Pat. Oh, excellent. I got that right. Halford's oil is at least 30 quid. Well, yeah, it is, John. But would Mustard or I buy oil from Halford? No, we're going to buy it trade, aren't we? Where it's not going to be anything like 30 quid. And more to the point is the car she's got now uses 530, not 530 synthetic, not 1040 semi-synthetic. So she's got no use for that oil. And it might have cost 30 quid when it was new, but God knows how long ago she bought it. And so if she puts that on Facebook Marketplace, what is she going to get for it? A tenner? A tenner, if that. It's unknown age and whatnot. So 10 quid for that, 20 quid for the stereo. The wheel trim's neither here nor there. And the 2 bulbs are neither here nor there. I thought 30 quid was a very fair price. But there you are. Other than that, I mean, she was lovely. The family were lovely. I just thought that as we'd gone to be the car's saviours, I thought that was a little bit mean-spirited. But there we are. Jimmy Quinn says, you should raffle off one of the cars you've got up for sale. Well, it's a thought, but A, I'm not sure on the legalities of that, and B, I'm not sure how many. It's a thought. Would anybody be interested if we were to raffle a card off? I would consider it. I would need to check out the legalities of it and how to do it and so on. I know other people do it and get away with it. So, yeah, it is a thought. Skick says, Simone is still the best presenter anywhere on the net. I admire her loads. Oh, that's nice. You really have got a fan there, Simone. Oh, right. Pat says that was Brandon that you were talking to with the maestro. I'll tell him to join your channel. Yeah, please do. Video title, I drove all night for a tin of oil. 50 quid is not a bad offer, says Joe. But I do get your point. Casey, it is like 10 1040 semi-synth. I don't know. I thought, well, maybe I was being mean. But the other thing is, cheeseburger, I thought you might know. You need to be FCA regulated to raffle. I have an FCA license. FCA, give me a Financial Conduct Authority. So all of these people that do raffle cars, are they all FCA registered or licensed, or did they just do it on the fly and hope they get away with it? I knew there'd be more to it than meets the eye. The other thing to bear in mind, going back to the 50 quid versus 30 quid thing, is that having lashed out, obviously I did all the driving today. I drove to the yard, I drove us to Llandudno, we drove the 2 cars back to the yard, and then I drove back here. So that's 100 quid in fuel that I've done. And I didn't really have 50 quid to spare, even if it was worth 50 quid. And yeah, I don't know. The big raffles are regulated, says Cheeseburger. What about the small ones if a YouTube channel? What about if we were to just raffle? I don't know. I like the idea of a raffle, and I have suggested it to Mustard before. Yeah. And if we were going to raffle a car, which one should we raffle? There's a question. You guys tell me. Brandon, that was it. I think he did tell me his name. He was ever such a nice chap, Pat, and he spoke very highly of you, certainly. And yeah, maybe I'll message the nice lady and say, look, I'm going to be back there on the first Monday of next month. I'll give you £32. Oh, the Rover 600, says Jimmy Quinn. 30 quid was a reasonable offer, mate, says Joe. And to be honest, the lady will regret not shaking on it, as now she's stuck with a box of items. Yeah, I thought that. And I did wonder that. And I am going to be there because, going back to the other thing, I'm sticking to my guns. The first Monday of every month, I'm going to be basing myself in Rill, because I really enjoyed it last week and I would like to keep going. And I would like to offer it as a potential community thing. So if you all get fixed into your heads that the first Monday of every month, I'm going to be in Rill, unless it's a bank holiday. If it's a bank holiday, I probably won't be, because the hotel will be too expensive. But if you get into your minds that I'm going to be there, and any of you can make yourselves free and would like to come and meet up, then do so. And Pat, first Monday of every month, I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. I'd love to meet you. And maybe the nice lady will send a lovely email saying, thank you so much for saving the car with no name, except it does now have a name. It's called Doris. Mustard's name, not mine. He got in first. Doris. It does look like a bit of a Doris, to be fair. Bless it. You know what? I know that we're both going to fall in love with that little car. I know we are. It's Mustard more than me. It is so Mustard. It looks so unloved, and yet it drives so well, and it's got such a stout heart, and it's got that wonderful story behind it. I know he's going to fall head. He'll want to keep that car. I guarantee you he'll want to keep it. He will fall head over. And the more work he does on the body, the more he will fall in love with it. It's another underdog. It's exactly the type of car that he would go for. But maybe the nice lady will send an email saying, thank you for saving the car now known as Doris. I really appreciate you giving up your day and driving 8 hours and paying me exactly what I asked for it, and not quibbling and being nice and lovely. And I'm really sorry that that I held on to those box of bits for the sake of 20 quid. If you'd like to come back, you can have them. I won't hold my breath. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Ross says there's a chap here in Melbourne called Lambo Man. He started the car lottery business, now one of the richest in town. This year he got a McLaren craned up to his penthouse as it was being built. Bloody hell. I think you need to make it a competition rather than a raffle. Ask a silly question. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So you ask a silly question that everybody knows the answer to, and they pay to answer the question and enter it. Jimmy, bless you. Jimmy Quinn has just, there we go. The lovely Jimmy has just sent a £1.99 doings thing, whatever you call it, super chat. And that is extremely kind of you, Jimmy, and I'm really grateful. If I had another 24 of those, I could go back and buy the box of bits. I'm just gutted about the gramophone. You know what a sucker I am for original gramophones. And it was the original. I assumed that it would be the, excuse me. I assumed that it would be the Blaupunkt CC32. Same as in Shison and in Derek, but it wasn't. It was the one before that, which I think is a Philips unit. And that could potentially be worth more. As the lady said, people are asking 50 or 60 pounds for them online, but you know, you can ask anything for them online. It doesn't mean they're going to sell for that amount. And we don't know if it works. We don't know if the cassette works. We don't even know if she's got the code for it. So, yeah, there we are. A pair of Dorises, a phrase from my youth. Mine too, Cheeseburger. Doris used to be, a Doris used to be a slang, slightly, possibly derogatory term for a lady. Boat says Skick, I think spending a night in Woodhall Spa in Lincolnshire would make a great video. It is the most amazing place I've ever been in the UK. Yeah, that sounds expensive, Skick. Cheeseburger says, no guarantee the stereo would work, and it's a Philips 751 or 752. Yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah, there is no guarantee. So again, I thought I was being pretty fair, given that, as Joe pointed out, anyway, we can bang on about that forever, can't we? She stuck to her guns, and fair play to her. Ah, right, this is interesting. Oh, hang on, before that. Jimmy says, I can't be a member. Oh, I see. That's why you sent the lovely super chat thing. I can't be a member because my iPhone and iPad won't let me. I thought you were a member, Jimmy. You were. Were you gifted that then or something? And that's why you sent the $1.99, because you can't do the membership thing. Well, that's really kind of you. The membership thing, your iPhone and your iPad, it would let you, but what you're doing is you're watching on the app, right? So, you know, when you press YouTube on your phone or your iPad, that's the app. If you accessed it via your browser, which on an iPhone or iPad is Safari, if you went on that, then you would be able to do it. But you can't do it on the app, only on a browser. Ross says, I sat down and watched your potted history of sheds yesterday. Right, that is a video that I did probably knocking on probably 10 months ago now. Certainly last year, wasn't it? In which I talked about some of my early cars after I first passed my driving test. And I called it A Potted History of Sheds, which I thought was really quite a good title because, you know, cheap cars, sheds, and potted history, potting sheds. Get it? I thought it was quite good. Anyway, two things. You looked a little younger Well, I probably was a little younger. I would have been about 10 or 11 months younger. Or maybe I've just particularly aged badly in that 10 or 11 months. I remember filming it. Actually, do you know what? It might be even more than a year ago, because I filmed it outside, didn't I? So it wouldn't have been autumn like it is now. It would have been summer. So it must have been like July or August, in which case it was more than a year. God, I've been doing YouTube now for 18 months. Bloody hell, that's a long time, isn't it? Isn't it? So yeah, two things. One, you looked a little younger, and two, I realised I watched Catchword as a young fellow. God, did I talk about that? Did I talk about Catchword? Trying to vaguely remember. Why would I have talked about Catchword? I know it's because I went up to Glasgow in the Citroen CX, didn't I? That would have been it. For those who haven't watched that video, A Potted History of Sheds, in 1991, I appeared on a television program called Catchword, not Catchphrase. Say what you see. If you see it, say it. Not that. A program called Catchword. It was on, I think, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was broadcast on, I think, BBC Two. It was hosted by a Scottish guy called Paul Coyer, and it was made by a production company called Leslie Mitchell Associates. At the time, God, we are going way back now. I would have been, well, in 1991, I would have been 20 years old. I wasn't working with cars or anything like it. At that point, I was actually running a pub, believe it or not. I think, I'm not certain, but I believe at that time that I was the UK's youngest licensed publican, whatever you call it. And I was running a pub called the Red Lion at Astwood Bank, which was actually more of a restaurant than a pub restaurant, whatever you want to call it. So we had a big old 90-seater pub restaurant and a tiny little bar where that had quite a regular local clientele. Now, a little update to that is that a few years ago now, I took a thing, and I've forgotten what you call that thing. Hold on, let me think. Let me see if I can drag it up. Very late at night and I'm very tired. I can't think of the word where you go and consultancy. I took on a consultancy for a guy that used to work for me, with me, well, both actually. And he and another chap had started a car dealership at a new place outside Astwood Bank on some new industrial estate. And I went down there, I commuted down there from here for a week. And I rebuilt their website, redid all of their social media, sorted out a few issues with staff, all of that. So like a management consultancy thing. And of course, I drove past my old pub and I couldn't find it. And I eventually realized that sadly, it had been knocked down and replaced with houses. So yeah, the Red Line at Astwood Bank is no longer there. A lot of memories there. But yeah, I was talking about Catchword, wasn't I? So in 1991, I ended up appearing on Catchword. I think that in those days, then the licensing laws were different. So if you had a pub, you worked split shifts. You'd be down in the cellar at some ungodly hour of the morning, but then you were open from whatever time it was until 3 o'clock, whatever. And then you had a few hours of doing sod all until you opened again for the evening. You couldn't stay, you couldn't legally stay open all day. Different times. So I guess that's why I used to watch a bit of afternoon television. And I used to watch Catchword. And for those who aren't familiar with it, it's all about words. It's a bit like Countdown. but very different. I've got no idea if any episodes are available online, but there were lots of different rounds. You'd be given 3 letters and you had to come up with the longest word, beginning with the first and ending and then containing the next 2 in order. So you were hoping for something beginning with an F, so you could come out with Flocky Knockin' Hilly Pillification, or what was the other one that was, I've forgotten the other one. If you got one beginning with P, then you'd be trying to get out pneumonic ultramicroscopic sulconic volcaniconiosis, and there were anagram rounds, and there were this, that, and the other. And I used to watch that in the afternoon, and I thought, I'm good at this, I'll apply. So I applied, and you did a kind of telephone audition, and I passed that, and I was invited onto the show. And that's why I was talking about it in A Potted History of Sheds, because they paid for a first-class train ticket to go up to Glasgow, because it was recorded in Glasgow. And they put you up at the Glasgow Holiday Inn, which incidentally is where I met Chris Eubank for the first time on that trip when I was recording that. And you recorded 3 episodes per evening, and they put you up in this really quite nice hotel for the evening. And if you could stay on for a maximum of 7 if you kept winning. And they put you up in the Holiday Inn for as long as you were on the program. And I thought, bugger it, I'm not going up on the train. I was driving a Citroen CX at that point. And I remember going up in that with Donna, who was then my girlfriend or possibly fiance. She did become a fiance at some point. Never got upgraded to wife. But we had a blast up there. It was brilliant. You know, I was a young, fairly wet behind the ears kid. So it was nice to go to Scotland. It was nice to go to Glasgow, a new place, staying in what to me then was a fairly posh hotel, and getting to go on the telly and being clever. And arrogant swine that I am, the major prize, to win the major prize, you had to win 7 shows in a row, and you got a QBA computer. And one of my regulars at the pub was a computer guy, and I knew nothing about computers at that point, and I certainly didn't need one running a pub. This is in 1991, remember? So I said to John, the regular, I said, do you know anything about this? He said, yeah. Why? Why do you want to know? I said, because I'm going on this TV show and that's a major prize, so I'm going to win it. He said, oh, right, okay, well, maybe you won't. I said, I'm going to win it. I said, do you want to buy it? So I sold it before I even went on the show. Anyway, oh, look at the time, darlings. It's time to go. Let's just whiz through the comments. Another 25 say, well done, Jason and Paul. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. The red line is still going, says Cheeseburger. It's not. It's been knocked down, mate. It's houses. I drove past it when I went down to do that thing. I drove past it every day, or where it used to be. We had another red line, the red line at Hunt End, but this was a red line at Astrud Bank on, can't remember the name of the street, but it's gone. It's houses. Ben says, greeting pop pickers. I trust the wisely travelled streets were smoothly traversed by mustard and ketchup today. Evening, Ben, and yeah, the trip went without problem. The new car drove beautifully. Has it gone, Boaty? Yeah, it's definitely gone. Thought it was on the high street by the Feckenham turn. No, not that red line. You did take the Feckenham turn, and but you went down towards Feckenham, and just as you were about to drop down the hill towards Feckenham, it was just on the left-hand side, just as you were leaving Astrobank, about to go down the hill that I can't remember what we called it, something bank. God, I used to Oh, I suffered up that a few times coming back off hard bashes, training runs, that means. But no, it wasn't on the high street. It was, yeah. So if you were going to turn right towards Feckenham, and yeah, it was then down, 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 and it was on the left just before you started going out of the village and down the hill. Something, I forgot what we used to call that hill. It was opposite the Wilson's Fun Fair place, because Ted was a regular. Ted worked for Wilson's, and there was a Wilson's Fun Fair. He had a bungalow and a storage area there, and it was opposite that. But yeah, it's definitely gone. Houses now. I'm going to sleep now, say Simone. Say good night to you. Oh, you know what I mean. Good stuff. Right, it is time to go, darlings. It is time to go. Mustard and brown sauce. Thank you so much for your company tonight. I really, really appreciate it. Apologies again for the technological mishaps. It appears that we're all sorted now. We can go forward with the widescreen iPhone X as the new live stream phone. And yeah, stay tuned tomorrow for more phone news. So yeah, the new phone will be coming tomorrow. No doubt I will test it out tomorrow, and that'll be on the daily diary. Oh God, tomorrow's going to be a busy day. I've got so much footage to try and edit into today's daily diary. Then all of last week's daily diaries will be available to everybody then tomorrow, not just channel members. And then I've got to try and get some rest because Wednesday is going to be, oh God, Wednesday is going to be crazy. Oh, a live unboxing cheeseburger. He said, won't everybody be at work? It's going to come during the day. Oh, actually, God, a year ago I got this one. A year ago, I remember going to work late because it got here at about 5:20. So, oh, I suppose, oh, I could save it until tomorrow night's live, couldn't I? Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. Okay, let's do that. We'll have a live unboxing tomorrow night. There we go. So thank you again. That's it, really. Always time for a live. Okay, fair enough. I'm absolutely knackered. I'm going to get something to eat. I'm going to get to bed. I am now bearing in mind what's going to happen Wednesday. Then tomorrow, I'm going to try and stay in bed. I would love tomorrow to stay in bed until 12. It never happens these days. Maybe it's an age thing. When I was younger, I could easily sleep in until 1 o'clock, no problem at all. Now I don't seem to manage it. But yeah. Well, I'll go on then, sod off. I will sod off. I can't fart you out. The neighbours are back, by the way. That's why we've got the microphone. That's why. So yeah, no music, none of that good stuff. I'm sorry about that. I'm hoping I know how to turn this off. Tomorrow night we should be straight in with no messing about because I know what I'm doing now, or hopefully I'll remember. It won't be a late one tomorrow. It's going to be strictly a midnight finish because obviously Wednesday morning I've got to get up. But thank you for your company, darlings. Have a fantastic day tomorrow. Have a safe and peaceful night tonight. Take incredibly good care of yourself. Thank you, Neil, for your very, very kind offer to once again try and single-handedly save Brian. Thank you, Jimmy, for that very kind $1.99 super chat. The community fart off, yeah. That is it. I'll let you go. See you tomorrow night. Much love. Oh, now I'm not wanting to go over there because the mic will be muffled. So I'll say good night. See you tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Much love. Right, let's hope I can do this. That.